Hey, top of the morning to you. I'm Michael, or as the grandkids call me, Roo. Thanks for being on Roodoodles Live. It's Labor Day or Labor-less Day. I've never figured out the holiday. We celebrate labor, so we take a day off to celebrate it. Seems strange. But then again, so do a lot of our holidays, which I think were created by the chocolate companies. Think about them. Mother's Day by the florist. Christmas, well, we know why it originally started. I hope you do. But in fact, we've made a giving holiday out of it. In fact, we just give it every holiday. Glad you're on the show. You give to me by doing that. Thank you for allowing me to come into your studio, into your back porch, your rocker. Maybe you got a cup of tea and you're out sipping. I carry my bug out bag with me. Carried it this weekend. Thanks for all the pop-ins on some of the sites that I just came up. Camera work and just moving had to be what it was. I was losing connections, and so out and about, but I wanted to see what I was laboring over the weekend. It was really fun. Hey, I'm going to paint something. I'm going to come back and say hello. Top of the afternoon to you, Sabine. I see you on the show this morning, so I'm going to come back and say hello in just a morning, in a minute. In a morning. I'll say it right just for fun in a second. So thanks for piling on the show this morning. Glad to have you here. Hope you got a cup of something to drink, a cup of coffee, a cup of tea. Got mine in my Roo mug, which I haven't. I'll keep you posted. It's not going to focus there. Yeah, there it goes. Little rooster head on there. Those are supposed to be heading this way. They're not doing anything today. I promise you. It's Labor Day. Here's a look at the desk. It's just got a little something scattered out here. And I've got a little pencil sketch that I started. Yes, I started in pencil. Hey, I'm not above pencils. Sometimes I just want to go ahead and just be gutsy and step out off of the edge and just sketch with a pen. This is a painting. This is not a very expensive piece of paper. I've got some lovely paper here. This is my Kilimanjaro, and I have some fluid watercolor paper and some flame down here. This is just I happened to be passing through a little shop the other day and grabbed this Strathmore watercolor. It's fine. It is really fine paper. It's 140 pound. It's cold press, they should say. And cold roll is steel, but that's blacksmiths. Anyway, it's decent. And I'll tell you why I bought it. I didn't buy it because I was really needing paper. I mean, that's sad, but I have a drawer full over there. I bought it because it was 6 by 12, and I thought, well, I could have just cut some when I get back home, but I wasn't home. So I bought this because I wanted to paint this fall painting. And so here it goes. So good morning, everyone. I'm going to paint a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and say, just shake it up a little bit. And I put on this piece of music right here. Boop. There it is. See? So I'm going to just do this real quickly here for you. Let me turn that down just a smidge. It sounds a little hot to me. You can adjust your own volume. I can't tell what you're hearing where you live. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw. I've got this bicycle sketched in here. You can see it a little bit. Man, these guys are rocking and rolling today. Okay, so I'm going to not talk much and just sketch this rooster right here. Here he goes. Now, why did I sketch him like this first? Does anybody know? I'm going to tell you right now in just 1 second. Let's this knee out here. Let's let it coming down. There we go. So I've got him sketched on there like that. See, he just fell into this. And then now I've got some feathers and all that. I got some feathers that came down here. And so you can see where I'm going to put the bicycle underneath the rooster. It's a different way. It keeps me from doing a lot of silly erasing and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to just go in and now let's put another little feather there. There's the back. All right, so now I can drop a feather right down in there and can make all this stuff work. See, look at this. I can make this work now. Just, it doesn't care if the tires are round. Hey, come on. They roll better when they're round, but when you're free-handed, don't sweat the small stuff, okay? All right, it's the chain drive here. I like to double that up. Let's see. Ooh, that was kind of a nice little song. I think it was called Joshua Sprankton. This little painting I do every year that reminds me of fall. Going out of summer into fall, and you'll see why in just a second. There's a couple of these out there somewhere in the Roo world. I don't really know where they are. When you're drawing bicycle spokes, don't just draw straight little lines. You know they cross, right? There's the spokes cross. Go out and look at your bicycle, and they generally cross close to the hub, like so. And there's a little valve stem right there. That's kind of always fun to put in. Just some muck on the wheels. I don't know what that is. And there we go. Then we'll go in with this right here. This bar comes down. This bar comes down right here. It's going to hide that leg there. There's the sprocket right here. There's the crank coming down behind his leg. And there's the pedal on that side. And here's the pedal on this other side. Ha ha! He's got a wing out here on the handlebars, a little handbrake, maybe a little bell to ring right there. Ding! Here, get this clamp. I like to sketch quickly like this, and it just makes my paintings a lot more loose. You can see what's happening here. This Roo's on this old bicycle, and he's heading out across the farmyard. Maybe he's got a sprocket here, with a little bit of a chain drive. More spokes here. Kind of fun. Sometimes I just put music on and I just sketch like this, and it really... Now I'm going to get rid of my pencil. I don't want to get rid of all of it, but I'll just get rid of some of it here. That if I'm first showing my art to my grandkids, they say things like this. They go, hey Roo, you really didn't sketch this where you put the pencil. I don't understand why you drew the pencil. Then you just drew the pen wherever you wanted to. I don't understand why you didn't do that. And so sometimes I'll just erase the pencil marks because, well, the pencil marks were just for spacing and making sure that the rooster was sitting over the bicycle. So I sketched the bicycle in with a pencil so I'd know where it would be. And then I dropped my rooster on top and just did him in pen. You know, none of this, and so that way I got what I wanted. Now I'll take out some of the, I just did this in a pen. I like the fact that that you just, and I'll use a couple different pens here. Here's one that I'll just do some cross hatching down here with to give me this. And by the way, I'm gonna say hello to some of you in the morning. Thanks for being on the show. I just wanted to jump on a painting and just get started. It's Labor Day, and I'm laboring here with a cup of tea today, and having at it. Let me just jump in and say hello to you a little bit. Thanks for being on the show. I hope you're going to enjoy your Labor Day. Eat well. I ate so well over the weekend. All I want to do, I do think I have some family coming by today, and it's just going to be maybe a little salmon and chicken, and probably a few sliders on the grill for some grandkids. All right, so I'm gonna jump with another brush this morning. Look at this. I'm just going to grab a number 3 and probably, let's see. There's something. I'll grab that just for fun. I grabbed a number 5 and a number 7. I thought I was grabbing a 3. I grabbed a 5. I'll take it. These are American Journey interlock nylon brushes. So that's what I've grabbed this morning. So this will be good. I'm going to go in and get a little bit of water. And I'm going to paint this. Watch this thing happen here. And I'll add to it as we go. All right. There's the wattle. Here's the comb going in. Just really quick strokes. There's a little block behind. And I can even put a little ink in there to pick that up. I like that. How about a little bit of red just right there? You know this bicycle, you know what color the bicycle is going to be if you've ever seen me paint this before. I promise you I'm going to turn it into something. But first I'm going to take my Lamy fountain pen, as our friend John Robert Small calls it from down in Veracruz. He says it's pronounced like mommy. It's Lamy. These are good fountain pens. I'm just going to take it and put a little bit of cross-hatching in there with this Lamy pen, because this is going to give me the black that I want in the feathers. Look at that. It's just going to roll around. That music's a little sleepy for me this morning. I'm going to have to go back and hear something a little more upbeat here. There we go. And then I got to put a little blue in the feathers underneath here, just maybe a touch of ultramarine. Kind of come in and rock some of that right in there. Very little bit. This is a Yasutoma 020, and what happens here is this looseness just gives me those little bitty fun, you know, and the reason I'm painting his feathers thin out there is because, well, they're getting blown by the breeze. He's not going that fast because he's got precious cargo in the basket. You can see that. It's going to come up here. A little bit of gamboge into there and just let that kind of go down. That's kind of fun. I think we need a little bit of purple underpinning. Let's call this the underpinning. I think I'm back in auto shop somewhere. But there's a little blue that I don't want to miss this tail feather coming down right there. Right in there like that. A little bit of orange underneath right here. Love this. Look, it's just picking up some of that ink and coming down. Now I'm going to make some leg color. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to grab some gamboge right here. And thanks for being on the show this morning. I'm going to say hello in just a minute. I just started off a little differently this morning because I already had this painting up on the drawing board. I always wanted to say on the drawing board. Well, guess what? I got one on the drawing board. Yeah, doesn't need a whole lot in there. Maybe just a little bit of this spring green. A little more orange in here just because it's fall. Oh, that's not orange, but this red, I'll leave it. Let me just splatter some water in there and just kind of get a little messy, just like some feathers are flying. See that? Look at that. I love that. Isn't that cool? I should have moved my glasses before I splattered that, but I'm not driving with them today. Okay. Hey, the basket has to have a little brown trim on it, I think, just because it's a basket on the front of a bicycle. Just put a little bit of this in there like so. There we go. Don't want to do too much. Sometimes we get so busy with the colors that we put in more than we really need. And so I just want to challenge you to keep those holidays going soft and easy. And that's some of the stuff that we'll talk about in the classes that's coming up in October. I'm still going to be painting Monday, Tuesdays, and Saturdays, Lord willing, but on Wednesdays I'm going to teach a private class on a private Facebook page. You'll have a link, and if you have already subscribed to my email address, that's roodoodles@gmail.com, and you're on the subscription, I send out one at least every 6 months or so. You will, this coming Wednesday or Thursday, subscribe once the show's over. Go to roodoodles.com and it'll say waiting list, or there'll be a place where you can put your subscription, your email in. I don't send a lot of stuff. I don't send any junk mail. I don't share that with anybody. It's just right here in Rouville. And so here's what will happen. I'll send an email to you guys first and say, hey, here it comes. You want to sign up? And that's what that's for. And so that's why I put that out there. And there'll be some information there. People want to know what I'm painting with. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to do the class. Use whatever you love to use. You do not have to use my colors. You don't have to use my brushes, not mine, but the ones that I use. You don't have to, just because I mentioned American Journey, I love Cheap Joe's. And I told them, I'll talk about you guys. I love Yasutoma. I'll talk about them. And I got to tell you, I'm using some brushes that were just sent to me. I haven't used them yet, but I will in the next 2 weeks. They were sent to me by the F&M brush company. It's called Destiny Brush. Valerie hooked me up with the person. I called their marketing director last week and just said, are you kidding me? Thank you for sending me these beautiful brushes, but I think the pink handle ones have already been jettisoned to my wife. She said, those are mine, and she's going to take them to Maine with us. But so we'll post a few things from there. But crazy. They're beautiful brushes, and they even make some of the brushes that go to Cheap Joe's and other companies. So I'll show you those brushes later. They're fantastic. They sent me these to just said, hey, we like your crazy painting. We like your community. Thank you. And they sent me some brushes. So that's the name of that story, and I'm sticking to it. But you can use any brushes you have, but I also will do a list of what I normally use on the show. You hear me talk about it all the time. I use American Journey paints. They come in tubes. I squeeze them in this little pan. I also keep them in half pans. There's one in my Altoid box. It's been in my pocket all week. Carried this around. Did quite a few paintings over the weekend while we were up on the luxurious Lake Tuxaway. It's really just a plain little mountain lake, and it's so cool. It's cool. And we were there with dear friends, cooked a big old lamb on the spit. A big old lamb as in 55 pounds, and had 30 folks or plus over for dinner. All right, so there we go. We're getting there. Take a look. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this bike in the Terry Tardy turquoise. You knew I was going to. Should have guessed that in the beginning. There's something about turquoise making a bicycle just pop. I love it so much. Look at this. I'm using this long, scraggly brush, but it has such a nice point on it. I can drag it right in here and cut the parts of the pipe with it. See there? And I'm going to go ahead and do the hubs on this bicycle in that same turquoise. And this hub here I'm going to do, and with the little chain guard going out, and the fender, which comes under there. And there's a little fender. It's supposed to be a little fender right here, just a little short guy. Right there he is. Just to keep the mud off the Roo's legs. Come on. He's a rooster. You don't want to cover up his spurs with. I'm going to paint the handlebars Payne's Gray. There it is. Let's hear it for Payne's Gray. And I'm going to take another little bit of a lighter gray and just paint the sprocket that color, right? Whoops, made a mess there. It's hard to paint wet on wet paint, so I just messed up, but that's okay. It won't be the first time I'll ever mess up. A mess up is just like, let's don't do it that way anymore. That's not a big deal. All right, so where's this painting going? Let's put a little bit of, not green grass under it, because some green in there, but let's just go with a little bit of this brown here and just get a little bit of road under there. And I'll show you why, because this painting, like I said, is one of my favorites that I kind of do every year. And I think about when I grew up in Knoxville, outside the Smoky Mountains in East Tennessee, we always waited on the leaves to start to fall, and then we'd go out and we'd catch as many as we could. We made a game out of everything. Why not, right? That's just how little boys are. We go say, hey, I bet I can throw more rocks in that wash tub than you. Unfortunately, that wash tub had Dad's potatoes in there, so that didn't work out too well. Then we threw them in Mom's washing machine. That didn't work out too well either. You see these coming together right here? I lost my music, didn't I, here? Let's put this little piece of nice music in here. Oh, I think I turned it down. That's why you can't hear it. Silly me. Ah. It's that time of year when the leaves start turning just a little bit of orange brown, and you go catch them. So you just make a little story, and that's what art is about. Just create some little story, and watch what happens. So they're going like, faster, faster! There comes some leaves, and so you get this little concept of just life happening. Doesn't take much for kids to have fun. Dirty up the road here just a little bit. The little Payne's Gray, just sort of splatter it in. Mostly water I'm splattering in there. Put a little bit of a, maybe it's late in the day, so I'll put a little bit of evening sun back here. That looks green to me. Clean that brush out a little better if I want to. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay. All right. So there's a little messy painting, and maybe I come in and put just a little bit of detail in the tires. And I need another valve stem on that one. Why would you really bother about putting a valve stem on a painting this loose? Just because it's contrast. And just because people went, oh, he's so whimsical and loose. But wait, that's kind of detail. Well, it's just how life works. There's a little red in that leaf right there. Maybe a little bit of green in there too. They haven't just given up completely yet. And maybe just one right here hanging from the tree ready to fall. There we go. All right. Hey, let me say hello to some of you. Thank you for being on the show this morning, okay? Ferds Kelly, welcome to the show. And Linda Linhart, Barbara Mayer, Bob Hendrick, morning from the polychromatic cornfields. Boom, boom, boom. Polychromatic. Connie Fletcher, thank you for being on the show. Morning to you. Donna Bullman, Deborah Spangler, Trish Brown, Denise Albright, Karen Pulmer, Dorothy Beasley. Somebody said, hey, you know what you sound like? You sound like that old Romper Room show. I see Jeffy over under the table. Terry Tardy, thanks for being on the show. Just painted the turquoise on my bicycle. I think you see it. Deborah Lynn Tauber, Virginia man. Sabine, I said hi to you. Didn't find the vid right away. Thought you were taking a day off. I'm not. It's Labor Day, but painting is not laboring, my friend. It is being blessed by colors and good paper. And friends. You know, I got to tell you, if you weren't online, you know what I'd be doing? Painting. But because you are online, I get to tell stories and I get to up the ante and I get to explain things and answer questions. So thank you for sticking with me for many, many days. We are pushing 361, 362, somewhere in there. I'm about a year's worth into these days. Karen Piker, thank you for being on the show. Linda Lawless, Chris Whitaker, Michelle, blessings to you. Got some post review this weekend to Carol, Renee Keese, thank you. Nancy Catlett, Jacqueline Browse, morning from up in Paul Bunyan land. Teresa Emmerich, thank you for being on the show. Julie Walden, thank you for being on the show. Pat Lightbody, Becky Bailey. Becky, I think I may still have a book here for you. If I haven't mailed it, it's in a box, so forgive me. Still traveling a little bit right now. Ann Wester, good morning. Elaine Barnett, thank you for being on the show. Speaking of Elaine, man, I have a friend who is a dear, dear, dear artist. And she has a big art show every year, once a year. And she does one art show once a year in Nashville, Tennessee. And my wife and friends are all getting ready to go for that. And it'll be sometimes next month. She does it like a little out before Christmas, but it's in November, I think. But it's her one big show. She was up in Chicago visiting a grandson's football game at Wheaton, and she stumbles in the bleachers, breaks her wrist in 3 places, tears her rotator cuff. So Elaine, if you think about Elaine, what we ought to do, let me see if I can get an address for Elaine. I'd love for y'all to send her a note. She is, and I'm going to show you some of her art someday. This woman is the coolest. She's got the greatest humor. And so she's taking life in stride, but she's under a tough spell right now. I just can't feed herself, her shoulder, her arm. It's just not good. So, and, you know, it's old people when we don't bounce up like we used to, right? You know, I said that in the Noodle Doodle Fiddle book. You know, you when you're 20 and 30 and 40, you get up faster. Now, when you're my age and older, you go, okay, I'm not gonna do that anymore. Just had a young man clean out my gutters. I'm going like, he said, you know, this is not too tough. And I go, it has nothing to be doing tough. It has everything to do with me not being on the ladder. Roo, Skeeter Pals on the show. Philip Wilbarger, thank you for being on the show, man. Jack Wolfenbarger, blessings to you, my friend. Donna Sell Barton, Susan Crittenden, Mickey Hupp, Annette, hiya, she says. Annette up in Bird Island. Sue Kane, good morning from Australia. Jane Fag, I appreciate Jane. Jane was buying Roodoodles back before Roodoodles knew Roodoodles was selling Roodoodles. Jane's a beekeeper and a chicken person, and I appreciate you and just the honey, the whole thing you do. So Pat Brooks, Labor Day one and all, thanks for the work you do to make our society work. No kidding. Pat's not an encourager, is she? Nah. Pat is a good artist, and Pat, you know, of course, did all the art in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. The book is available here if you want to order it here, or it's available on Amazon. And you can go to Amazon and you can get Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. You can just type in noodle, doodle, fiddle, piddle, and it shows up. How do they do that? You know, it feels kind of fun. The book's about art. It's not just for artists. It's for people who want to think like artists. It's for kids and families and people who look at life and say, life should be enjoyed. I even used a quote a couple of days ago when I was out on that farm and I was showing the lake and I was panning across and I was talking about putting the lamb on the spit and friends coming in. And I said, one day you're going to wake up and go, I am highly favored. That day was that day. Woo! Jackie Wallace, Lori Stanley, Handelmeyer Henderson, thank you for being on the show. Lisa Bryant, Janice Scott, Laurie Belusi, thank you for being on the show. Michelle Mace, Alice Durham, thank you for being on the show. Gene Anthalzer, J.A. Berg, welcome. Linda Lawless, welcome. Chris Young, woohoo. All right, got some repeats coming up here. There's Paulette Hamilton. Donna Hamilton, all the Hamiltons. Mark Langston, do those help the spoken word? I'm not sure what that means, brother, but I'm Mark Langston, my musician friend from days gone by, and just a dear friend. We stay in touch every now and then. Jason Nichols, good morning from New Jersey. I'm in lazy mode, just woke up. Yikes, man, lazy mode. You can do lazy mode. There's K. Taylor Cash. Fun watching you draw. Thank you very much for being on the show. I'm always drawing something, drawing flies most of the time. But, and I mean that literally and figuratively. So Amy Roach, thanks for being on the show. Karen Miller. All right. So let me jump ahead and let me just finish this little painting and then I'm going to talk to you about art. And I did. Somebody said, TTT, please. I did it. The bicycle is Terry Tardy turquoise. By the way, that real color, for those of you who want to know, the real color of this paint right here is called Andrews turquoise. Andrews turquoise. And the reason is because Cheap Joe Miller, named it after Don Andrews. Don Andrews is, he's kind of known as the colorist. And he used to do these wild, just throw color everywhere. But man, he is a mixer of colors like you've never seen. And by the way, if you do American Journey paint, you might want to watch him sometimes. He paints all in American Journey. He's been painting it since Joe made the stuff, or Joe didn't make it. Well, maybe he did. Let's just make up a story. He made it in a bathtub and in little coffee cans. Not really. I'm just making this stuff up. I bet the bike will be Terry Tardy turquoise. Linda Lawless was already on it. Yep. See, so I call it Terry Tardy turquoise because Terry Tardy is my friend from out in Coos Bay, Oregon, who's been following this show for all of its days. And she loves turquoise. And in fact, she painted a watering can for me in a piece of art. And she's also a potter. And sometimes that glaze that comes out is just brilliant. I need to go for a bike ride today and pedal some lemonade. I get it. Pedal some lemonade. Okay. Burke, thank you for being on the show today. Barbecue today from Mission Barbecue. Woohoo! Okay. Got me a recumbent trike going to ride to the Wisconsin snowflies. Today I'm going to paint it. I love it. Vicki Lynn, make a story, she says. Love it. Thank you for being on the show. How come you don't paint while listening to Vern Gosdin? Because Vern Gosdin wrote one of the favorite songs, and I don't want to mess him up. He wrote this song, If You're Gonna Do Me Wrong, Do It Right. Look it up. If you're gonna do me wrong, do it right. That's Vern Gosdin. There it is right there. See, my brain, man, it connects to some strange stuff. Vern Gosdin. All right. Did you ever read The Dot? Donna Buckley. I not only read it, I laid it out here somewhere to say thank you again for it. I mentioned it one day, and I don't think you might have been on the show. Excuse me. And I'm familiar with the book. It's a fun story. And so, yes, I read it. I love it. It's a great children's book called The Dot. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's move ahead. I'm gonna finish this painting, rip it off the canvas, put on some music, and talk about something else. Beverly Schmidt says, play him almost every day. Oh my gosh, he can tear your heart out. And yeah, the voice, Vern Gosdin. If you're gonna do me wrong, doing right. I don't know the rest of the words of that song. I just thought that was one of those taglines where, you write country songs based on the tagline. It's the tagline. I had that conversation with a lady this weekend. Somebody had put some music on. We were sitting out, and I was watching this lamb go around. People were taking a boat ride, and I'm going like, okay, I'll stay here and tend the fire and paint, right? And whittle. I whittled 2 roosters. I was giving one away and brought one back. And somebody said, hey, I said, am I listening to country music? They said, you don't like country music? I went, well, I grew up on it. And then I got away from listening to it so much because I decided I could write a song every 12 minutes, And, but nothing from their taking anything away from their talent. Okay. And I will find Elaine's address and I'll figure out a way to share it, Pat. And I might share it with Roo's crew. That might be the best day to keep it on that page. So Elaine, her name is, you won't forget her name. Her name is Husbands. And just kind of pray for Elaine today and her hand and healing. And I mean, it's an art community, and this woman loves the creativity of art. And I'll find some art to show you. And we'll send her a note. So Elaine, address. I'll find you an address that we can drop stuff in. Some of you can just send her a little note and say, hey, because she knows she's good friends with Yaya, the bon vivant. And in fact, we have a piece of her art here in the house. So, all right, so I'm going to finish this piece up and then move ahead because it's 9:30 and I need to talk about something. The class is coming up and it'll start on October the 6th and it's going to be for 4 classes. So you owe me for 4 classes. Don't worry about signing up yet. I'm going to be sending out a detailed thing and then you can go through the sign up on the show, go into Shopify and it'll check you out and you do all that and then sit tight. And then about 3 or 4 days before October the 6th, I'll open the page and you can sign in or go in. You just go there. So it's going to be fun. All right. Glad you guys are on the show today. It's a big show. A lot of people jumping in. And here we go. All right. So I want to finish this. Let's see. I was getting close to doing that here. I want to just go in and do a little more detail. I can hardly really lay my hand down yet, but I can go in here and put in a little nostril and some eyelashes coming out. And I'll put some eyes on these little peeps in here. They're all here. Maybe there's a little bit of, and I always have a couple that remind me of this. See how they're facing the other direction? Well, I do that because it's as much fun to watch the strain on the guy pedaling the bike as it is watching leaves fall sometimes. So I just do that for variety's sake. And also I find that kind of interesting. And so I could have drawn anything. I could have drawn, a Mountain Dew down in there, or Coca-Cola maybe. And I better stay with Coke because it's my son works for them, so I'm always saying, okay. All right, so there's the rooster, some squigglies going out like this. Maybe just some flat pieces of grass. Come back in with this pen. And I sign my art. I sign it roodoodles.com because that's how you can find me. I put an M for Michael, a little slash, and then I'll put the year that I do it. And I don't necessarily need to put the month, but I like to keep up with the year. And this is 6 by 12 paper. And notice I just ripped it off this little pad. And so I'll just take my pocket knife, like maybe this open nail right here. Open it up, open up the open nail. And I don't have a pair of scissors handy. I'd do it with scissors, but I don't see any. Oh, sorry, bumped my camera. I don't see any scissors, so I'll just slide this right down through here. Look at that, straight as an arrow, and just rip it right off. There it comes right there, boom. And that little painting is ready to fly. I wouldn't mind if I had just a little bit more blue up in the sky. I should probably use the other end of the brush. Let me wet a little bit, drop it in the ultramarine, just get another paintbrush here and just tap in a little bit of blue falling down there like that. I like my messy backgrounds. I don't want to paint the whole thing. This is the center of the story. This is what they're doing today on Labor Day. This is the labor. Y'all work today? Yeah, we got to go catch some leaves. And so there's your painting right there, okay? So, and honestly, you see the bike isn't really, it's almost centered, but that's almost too centered for me. I'm very asymmetrical and not symmetrical. Can you tell? Okay? I'm like that RCA dog. And so what I'm trying to do is, but I didn't want to run out of room for his feathers. I wanted those to all be in here. Might come in and just do a little bit of detail here. Drop a few of these down. Maybe come in and just pick up some detail in the legs. I didn't put in the toenails. Got to do that, of course. There they are. Little rough on the chain right there. I'm thinking that painting is ready to fly. Okay, so could I come down with the bike? Could I have done a lot of things? Yes, but I started with a pencil. I could have moved it over a little bit and crowded this, but I wanted just to have a tree limb over here, just kind of falling with a few little leaves coming down. And you get what's happening here. You can make fun out of anything. And you know the rule in Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, the book, every painting is fodder for a story. Every painting is fodder for a story. Okay, so I'll set that aside, just let it dry right there. And let's do one more little painting this morning, okay? Catching leaves, bring back childhood memories, yeah. And raking them up. RCA dog, Terry says, yeah, the RCA dog was the dog that was sitting in front of the old RCA Victrola and the big cone speaker out there, and he had his head turned like that. So that's the RCA dog look, see? And now I'm having to explain what I do, but I saw that question mark pop up there. All right. Ricky Govers, yeah, she's in the Netherlands, and I got some paper that Ricky sent me from the hammer mill, and it's just fantastic. And it took forever to send it over here, and I'm so grateful. I didn't even know it was coming, and I'm showing this girl like, oh my gosh, look when this was mailed. Thank you for thinking of me. And I've said thank you lots of times to her, but it's handmade paper, hammer milled paper, which just it's an amazing process if you haven't seen it. All right, let me jump on another piece of paper here and show you what I got. This is, you should be paint on fluid paper quite often. It's 8x8. It's made by, believe it or not, Speedball owns this company. Somebody's got to own everybody. So this is owned by Speedball. And you're not going to believe where the Speedball art company is. You ready for this? Drum roll, please. Statesville, North Carolina. That literally is an hour from here. So one day I'm going to go up to Statesville. And I'm going to go to the Speedball company, and I'm going to walk in and say, hey, let's talk. And they're not a sponsor yet, okay? But I'm going to go talk to them because I like their paper, and I like the fluid, but I like Fluid 100 a little better than Fluid. And it looks like this. There it is right there, Fluid 100. You can always tell it's got a portrait of, I don't know, it looks like a pirate. You know what the pirate's favorite letter is, right? And all of you right now are going, R. No, the pirate would say, oh, the C's me favorite. You thought it was R, but it's C, the C. The C's me favorite. All right, so this looks like a pirate, but it was painted by Charlie Reed, who's just amazing. I think it's probably listed in here that he did it. Artwork by, by Charles Reed. There it is right there. It's called a Whidbey Fisherman. For you people that live out on Whidbey Island, there's the Whidbey Fisherman right here. Fluid 100 paper. Here's the difference. Fluid paper, cold press, 140 pound. Fluid 100 paper, 100% cotton. Does it paint differently? Yes. This is not full cotton. It can be other wood particles and it can be whatever they make pulp and paper out of. This is 100% cotton. It's going to paint different. It's going to grab the paint a little differently. It's going to take your pen differently. So practice on both. I love cotton paper. It just feels really well. But you may come to a time where you find some fluid watercolor paper that's not cold press but hot press. And this is stuff that will go into detail a little more on the class, but not much because dadgummit, get the paper that you love and just start painting. That's the way this works. So there's fluid, and it's Fluid 100. Those are the differences. And I'm going to take this one. Why would I take this one? Here's why. I'm going to take this one. It's cold press 8x8. This is hot press 8x8. And I'm just going to show you hot press is slicker. I went to Speedball one day to see if they had the outlet to buy from, but no luck. I bet you could get in. Well, I'm going to have a little phone call before I get up there. So, Donna Hamilton, thank you very much. Roobeard the pirate. Are you serious? Jason, that's for you. Which that's for your class. Which letter does the pirate like best? They all go R. And he goes, no, the C is more important to me. All right. I have a friend who's a wannabe pirate, bought a sailboat. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take my Lamy pen, And and I'm just going to do a little black and white roux here. Here's what I did over the weekend. I carried this pen and I carried this most of the time. Now I had my bug out bag with me. Okay, so I had my bug out bag, which is kind of fun. And I'll always carry this with me. And it was full of some fun stuff. I had a white pen. I had a pencil. I had a couple of water brushes. I had a Pentel pen. But I found out that I took an old flare in my bag, an old flare pen from the 70s. There it is, made by Papermate before they sold out to the Brute Company, who makes trash cans and ruined their pens. And I did some black and white, and that was really fun to do. And I told you I'm getting ready to go to Maine, and you have to learn how to paint a lobster if you're going to be an artist in Maine. And I think Don Andrews says it's a state law that if you don't paint a lighthouse, you go to jail if you go there and claim you're an artist. So, so I'm up to about 35 different lobsters I'm painting. And so there they are. You can see them, they're coming together. And so some of these are with thin pens and microns. Some are with my Pentel pens. There's in color. I'm just learning. And so I'm learning all the little, look at this guy right here crawling down onto the page. And so here's one that says, have you tried the chicken? He's got a bow tie on, some shoes. There's one crawling. There's one standing. Look at this. Love the claw. Here's one crawling. Here's one. And I got to show you one that I just did that I'm going to make a painting out of, and I've put my little copyright on it already. Is it in here? I think. Did I do it in here? I think it's right here. Okay, you ready? You ready? All right, stop the music. This is important. This is the kind of stuff that storytellers are made out of right here. You ready for this? All right. So I'm looking at this lobster right here. I'm looking at a lobster like this one right here. And I painted him. And I see him with his arms up. And he looks like the letter Y, right? He looks like a Y. I mean, they just literally think, well, that's funny. He looks like a Y. Let's see if there's another one. Here's one right here, standing up. Look. He looks like the letter Y. See, he's got, especially if they've got their claws extended. And so I thought, what if I painted one that was a Y and a C and you know where I'm going with this, right? M. And then I thought of the old song. And so I had to just do a quick sketch so I wouldn't forget it. But I'm going to come up and I'm going to do it on this paper. That's why I bought this paper originally. I'm going to do the Y. Maybe I should just sketch it out before I leave today. But the Y, M, and so here it is right here. So this is my layout. Look, and so here's one Y, M, C, and then this one really is not an A. And here's why. It says it's fun to stay at the hey, stop singing. Bobby's in the trap. This is not a time for levity. It's not a time for a song. Bobby's in the trap, and that's going to be one of my paintings that I'm the little copyright that there for Roodoodles. I'm taking to Maine with me. Okay, that makes me laugh. And I know, look, my tickle bone threshold is pretty thin. It doesn't take much to push me over because life is so short, people, and we live such dour, bad news lives. So just lighten up a little bit, you know? Art is supposed to be filled with light. So it's fun to stay at the Y. Hey, stop singing. Bobby's in the trap. So there it is. So there's the Y. There's the one that's swimming down M. There's the C, which looks a lot like a lobster. But I like the way his claws are coming down like this. So this is my rough draft. That's going to go on this piece of paper right here. And I'm going to put one of these together. I'm going to take one to Maine with me. And I'm going to give it to somebody I meet in Maine. And I'm going to sign it. It's going to be my business card. And then I'm going to sell one at auction just for fun. So there we go. So I took this pen with me because I want to learn to do these little black and white lobsters. And so I'm learning as I go to do those. So that's why I took this pen like this. I love these little black and white ones like this. How fun is that? Just to look at it and go, okay, I could do that. I could go down here like this and let this come around, let this come back in, and then up here, and then this. So I've done 37. This is going to be 38 of these things right now. So you can see how fast you can learn to do them once you start, once you just kind of figure out where all the pieces go. Look at that. That's already coming together. And then let this come up like this a little bit, and then go down here, maybe some different breaks. Do I care if I get these even or right? No, it's a lobster. It's a creature. Or as Ernest T. Bass would say, creature. All right, so then you got this big old fantail here and a little piece in the middle, then one that goes out this way, and then these little bitty tiny fantails on the end. And then you got the legs, and I like doing the legs like so, because you can do a little knob there. And then there's one. They remember, they go different than our legs. Our legs are bigger shoulder, go narrow. The cone's going that way. On crustaceans, the cone goes the other direction. The wide part is out where the knuckle is, and or the knuckle head in my case. And so it doesn't take long to do a lobster. So see there, and I put a little eye there and an eye there, and then you get these claws that come back down. So if I want to just run in here with this pen and scratch some of that in, I need some lobster music. What would I use for that? I don't even have any idea what any of this music is. Let's just try this piece right here. I bought some new pieces and I haven't tried them all yet. Obviously, it's nothing. Oh, it's muted. Oh, that's perfect lobster painting music. Let's grab this brush. How about if I just use a little tea this morning? Let's grab a little tea. Just paint it with a little bit of brown tea water. Spilled some right there. Get that out of there. I think some of you spend way too much time working on just getting everything perfect. And I want to challenge you this year in the class that's coming up, the potpourri class. It's going to be a little bit about everything. I want to challenge you just to lighten up and have some fun with your painting and just play. Waste some paper. Hey, go spend about $40 and just buy yourself some different paper and come back and play with it like crazy, okay? And so then what you get is you suddenly find yourself, I should probably quit dipping that paint in my tea now because I'm ready to drink the rest of that, huh? So just have some fun. Now I'm going to add a little color in this because you didn't think I was going to do the whole thing in black and white. Look at this. If I add a little red in there, whoa, what happens? And this, remember, is hot press paper, so it causes the paint to skid and stay on the surface just a little while longer and stay wet, especially if you're using ink, as I was. Then we'll add a little blue right in there on that, a little blue there. So there's your a little. I love that lobster. I need to try one. Susie Peters, if you're going to try a lobster, make sure you have plenty of butter. Oh, they paint better with butter. That blue tastes marvelous. All right. I just found some Canson Mixed Media Rough Sketch book at Michael's. Got one, but haven't tried it yet. Oh, rough mediums, those are pretty good. Is it 138 pound? Maybe so. I don't buy a lot of paper at Michael's, but sometimes they'll surprise you. For a while, they were carrying B Paper, the B Paper Company, and it was fantastic. And so I just heard a tone go off somewhere, and I don't have any tones on. So I don't have any. Something's ringing somewhere. The police may be chasing me for something. It's illegal lamb cooking, I think, this weekend. So, all right. So there's a little lobster for you on what we call hot press paper. Now he's messy, but he's messy because why? Because I wanted him messy. In fact, I'm going to just mess up some more up here. I'm going to put some splatter around. He's just come off of the boat. Let's add a little bit of indigo right in here. Just let that pop in. A little bit of green. Man, I'm loving where this is going. And just let it kind of go out like that. And then now watch this. I want to show you something really different here. Watch. I dip my brush in coffee all the time, Vicki Lynn says. Yep. Is there a 2-cup of minimum at your shows? 2 cup of minimum. All right. Now I'm just touching this with a paper towel, and I'm taking out some of the excess, or is that excess? And I want to go in and I want to get a little more orange right here. So I wanted to pick up some of that, and I wanted to bring a little bit of orange in on his head, just like this. Just like he's been down, and he popped him up in the sun. He came to the surface looking a little green around the gills. Get it, what I did there? And then just let that come in. And so there we go. So there's the little lobster. And you know what? He's good enough to put my name on. I'm going to put Roodoodles right here. Not with that pen. No, it's wet, soaking wet. Here we go. Might get it now. Roodoodles.com, Michael 21. Need a couple eyes right here. Just drop a little bit of that in there and just let it kind of go. And right here, come in just with this. I got to figure out what's dinging me in my office here. Ding, ding, ding. Thought I had everything turned off today, but obviously I don't. So there's some of those little feelers that come out. And some of those are red. If I wanted to just really get a fine little tip brush here, I could get a rigger brush, R-I-G-G-E-R. This is kind of stuff we'll talk about, and I'll just grab a little bit of that red paint and I'll drag some of this in. Rigger is what I might use if I were in the automotive business and I were pinstriping a car. I'd use a little liner or rigger brush. If I'm doing fine fishing flies and hair, stuff like that, feathers, that's kind of a fun little way to do that. All right. Hey, that turned out to be a pretty good lobster. By golly, I like him. I like him a lot. Yeah, sound effects. Lobster is cracking good. So what I'm telling you is you can learn to paint anything. This book right here has about 32 in it. There's a few more piled up here on the desk, 36. I may be closing in on 40 right now. I gave one away this weekend to a lady up in Norwood. I was at a little coffee shop in Norwood, and she's gathering some artists together, and it was a little black and white one. Here's a Roo. Look at this one right here, man. Look how fat he is. He's a big old. And here's one that's crawling across. Here's one. Here's one that says, trapped in the art. I bet with some butter I could slide out of here. And then here's one that's, this may be one I was looking at when I thought, he looks like a Y, doesn't it? So anyway, so there's a few more that are just on watercolor paper. And then I've got this notebook that I've been carrying around, and I'm just filling up. There's one, a little black and white one. See, right? Let's see if I can find him again for you. Oh, there he is. There's one right there. There's one. So that's a little different look. And this one here says, putting on the bisque. He's got a top hat and a cane. He's dancing. And these two fish are over here, so he doesn't know anything. Putting on the blitz. Not putting on the Ritz, but putting on the bisque. See, to me, a groan is as good as a laugh. Okay? So there they are. There's the lobsters that are coming together, and I'll probably finish this before we go to Maine, and I won't even take it with me. I'll start a fresh book up there. As a matter of fact, just so you know what I'm taking to Maine, let me jump in and tell you what I'm going to do with that. I'm actually taking my Japanese journal. It's this one right here. So why am I taking a thin little journal like that? Here's why. There's nothing in this one. And remember, it's 22 pages of all on the same piece of paper. See it? It's accordion fold like this. There it is when you unroll it. Okay. So I'm going to take that with me, and every day while I'm there, I'm going to do 3 sketches of everything from harbors to wildlife. This is the one that I keep from France. So just those of you who haven't seen this, and most of you have now because I show it all because I'm kind of proud of it. It's better than my slideshow, but here's my trip to France, and it's all on one big old long 11-foot piece of paper. So all the sketches are there. Everything that I did in France, there's all the places I went, all the harbor in Ardon. You have to say that like a pirate, Ardon. And here's the Moulin Rouge and the Eiffel Tower and the Blue Door. And every 15 minutes you stop somewhere when you're in Paris and have coffee. Here's Montmartre, which watch the artists set up, and here's Monet's garden. So all of those are, I'm going to Kennebunkport, you bet. I'm going to have ice cream there. I asked my granddaughter what she wanted for lunch. Anything I could lick the butter off of. So these are called Japanese journals. They're made by Moleskine, Moleskine, and it's just one piece of folded paper, accordion style. So on the plane up, I'll I'll brand it. I'll put my little painting in the front, which I always do. There it is right there. My name and a phone number so you can reach me. This one was done September the 24th to October the 1st, 2019 in France. Here's, and we're off. There's the French flag. And I wrote something right in the corner. I don't know how planes fly. The average house weighs 160,000 pounds. And this Boeing 787 weighs in at 259,000 pounds. Plus, there was a service dog on there that was pretty big. Anyway, so the point is, how do they fly? I don't know. But there's the inside the airplane. There's arriving, having a food tour. We're got a food tour in Maine. It's going to be fun. And food is huge. And look, these aren't great sketches, but to me, they're fabulous because they remind me and Yaya, me and Carol, of our journey. This is my blue page. And so I'm going to do the same thing around the harbor. And I'll show some of that. I didn't have the show going on then, so now I'll be able to kind of show you some of that. You know what this is? This will blow your mind. Let's see, was this the one from France? Yep. Look at this right here. This is great. See this? I had ice cream on the plane coming back, and this is the spoon right there. There's a spoon for the ice cream, and it goes in this little pouch right here. There. So that's my keepsake. All right. Hey, it's about time for me to quit. I got a video coming up. It's not just art, it's memories. The French book should be framed. Well, if we framed it, Annette, I'm so grateful for that compliment, but I couldn't look at it. And right now, Joe Miller will tell you the same thing. He has some of his first original sketches that when he went to Maine, he sketched in the harbors and he kept them. And so to him, he said, I can tell you where I was when I sketched it. I can tell you what rock I was standing on. I can tell you what I had for breakfast. I can tell you who was standing with me. I can even tell you the pencil that I used. And that's what happens when it goes in here. It goes out through your arm. It comes down onto the paper. That's exactly what happens in art. So be an artist, or at least think like one. That's from Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. When people, and I met this lady the other day who is Robin Davis. And Robin, if you're watching the show, good morning to you. Robin is revamping everything from a coffee shop to a restaurant to a wonderful mercantile shop there, which I posted from. Great stuff. Sorry about the busy camera work, but I was running around all over the place and I'd set my coffee down somewhere, couldn't find it. I said, hey, I'll take my coffee in here. Can I shoot a video? And she said, if you'll make us look good. And I said, that's my job. And she said, well, where's it going to go out to? And I said, well, I paint on this this show that I do. And these friends come. She goes, are you an artist? And I said, Robin, I think like one. And so how important is that to think a little differently? And she said, I'm trying to get artists together. I want to do a mural here, and I'm trying to do this. And so that's what got me into having a conversation with her. And I gave her my little business card, had a Roodoodle on one side, and I turned it over and I went, oh, there's my little black and white lobster that I'd done on one of my little blank cards. And she said, oh, you need that back? And I go, nah, too late, keep it. And so there it is. All right. So blessings to you. I will, Lord willing, is it Monday? Yeah, I'll paint tomorrow, and I'll give you more information on books. If you've got a question or two tomorrow, send them in. I'm gonna set across about 10 minutes, 15 minutes aside just to answer some questions, and then everything from I will also probably have written out all the instructions for the class. I think that email is going to go out on Wednesday, so probably as early as next Saturday or the following Monday, a week from today, you'll be able to register for the actual class. Books are available at Amazon.com. Roobook is available. The Roobots, there it is. It's a coloring book for kids. Story, place to draw. Hey Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow is available. And Pat Brooks' artwork. And my book is available called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. Thanks for purchasing the books. And thanks for sharing your art with other people. And I'm going to be out of here. And here's the painting, what it looks like right here. I'll post it out there somewhere. And I'm going to give it a caption. And it won't be called The Falling Leaves of Red and Gold. That's just a little sleepy for me. But I'll go back in and finish this up and put a caption in here and put just some little motion marks on there. And I'm out of here. Blessings to you. Yeah, I know Peter and Pat Brooks were in Paris the same time we were. Is that amazing? The world is a BB. We discovered that. Journaling, I love the fact that you guys were there at the same time. Journaling for me is a way of embracing and savoring the moment. Jason, you got it, buddy. Jason keeps the journals down, keeps the sketches down. And I think I passed the material. Oh, John Robert Small, you are a Looney Tune, buddy, and I love you much. Thank you very much. First day back at school tomorrow. We'll catch the replay, Jacqueline says. Hey, if those of you that are going back to teach schools, be safe. And you know what? Push those kids. Push them in a creative way. You can do it. All right. Glad you guys got to spend the morning here. And did you see a woman doing the splits on the Eiffel Tower? Yeah, it was her. She did them under the Eiffel Tower. Yeah, splits the globe if you want to look her up. So there's the two paintings I did this morning. And this one is going to go into, let me just cut this off here. Remember, this is an easy block, so you have to spin that paper loose with something. And I usually leave it on there till it dries pretty well. I will put these over here and let them dry. And this one, I'll put this one in the lobster pile. Get it? And or the lobster pot. Ooh, I did it. I did a pun there before I knew it. All right, blessings to you all. I am out of here like a herd of turtles, and it's been fun doing a little art. Got to go shoot a video. May have to get a haircut before I go to Maine. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to pull it back again and pretend I'm one of those Maine hippies. Blessings. See y'all later. See you tomorrow, Tuesday. My days are all messed up, but it is Monday, and I've got a video to shoot today, and then I've got to build a fire and roast some salmon over some hickory. My daughter's request.